Hello everyone and welcome you all to another chapter of the basic C++ tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 4 where I'll be showing you guys about different data types. Okay, so in this class we are going to learn about different kind of data types which are being used in C++ programming. So let's not waste much time and let's get started. So already over here on my screen, as you guys can see that I do have uh, all the codes which I had written in my last class. So what I can do is I will just delete all of those and we are going to start learning about data types over here. Okay, so what are data type? Let's say a particular number, or let's say a particular character, or let's say a particular sentence. Okay, like happy birthday. These are actually different kind of data types. Okay, so now if you just come down, there is also another data type which is known as a boolean data type. Okay, like whether it's a true or a false. Okay, so a boolean variable or a boolean data type can either be a true variable or a false variable right over here, and you can just use those without variable as well. Like if you don't want to use any variable, you guys can do that. So first, let's try to understand about these data types over here. So the first kind or the first type of data, what we are talking about is that we are going to talk about a string. Okay. So now, what is a string basically? Okay. We need to learn what is actually a string over here, or let me just start with a character or a single word. Let's say sometimes while you are grading, or while your teacher are grading for you, you only have one word or only one character over here. So that is also a data type that is known as a character data type in C++ programming. And to signify that, what you guys can do is you guys can just type char, which is the first four word of the character. Okay, so char, and after that basically you guys can type it out. Okay, let's me just go with a result. Okay, so I will just go with result equal to, then I will just open my double quote or my single quote, and inside I can just put one character. Let's go with B, or let's go with C from here. Okay, so let me just come here and let me just go with A. And now if I just build and run this particular line of code here, you guys can see it is showing me an error. Okay, error expected or before return. Okay, so as you guys can see now, I have created this variable, but now how can I print it out? Okay, so if you do want to print it out, what you guys can do is you guys can just type C out. Okay, so over here I have written C out, then I will just put double less than sign, and inside what I can do is you can just type a result. Okay, so result, and now again this one, and over here I need to make sure that I close this down with a semicolon, and over here also I will just type ENDL. Okay, so ENDL, then semicolon again. And now if I just run this line of codes, you guys can see it is returning me A. Okay, so that's how you guys can work. So as you guys can see over here, actually I am creating this variable. Okay, like inside a variable, as this is a container, I am storing my data type. But if you say like instead of printing this, if you do want to directly print any of this data type, you guys can also do so. Okay, so instead of this, if I just go with a single quote and if I just type C. Okay, So now you guys can see that over here, if I just run this line of code, it will show me C in return. Okay, so that is how you guys can actually work. So we have learned about the first data type, which is a character data type. Now let's click on enter. And the next thing is that, let's say you do have not a single character, but you do have a sentence or you do have a particular word. So how you're going to work with those? So for that, now first you need to mention the data type. So this particular data type is known as string data type. Okay, and to signify that, or to make understand your C program language, you need to type str. Okay, so just type str, then give it up a space, and after that click, or just name any variable, because for now I am actually trying to store this one inside a variable. So now a string data type over here, let's give it out a space, and I will just name this one as my sentence. Okay, and over here you guys can just put on the equal to sign. Then you can just use single quote or double quote from here, and after that you can just write anything as you like. Let me just type happy birthday. Okay, so happy birthday I have written right over here, and this particular data type is known as a string data type. Okay, because over here you are actually writing a sentence out, and if you don't want to print it, just give the command of printing my sentence variable, because inside this my sentence variable you have this thing. Okay, and also if you just want to use this data type without the variable, you guys can also do that right over here. So now let's click on enter, and the next data type which we are going to learn here is the integer data type. Okay, let's say if you do have a whole number, okay, like 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 without decimal numbers, that is a integer data type. Okay, like for numbers there are a float, there is a double data type, there is integer data type, and float and double are basically for any number which have a point to them. Okay, like 2.5 or a 3.2 or 10.6258, like anything which have numbers beyond the decimal number, then you need to use the double or the float data type. You can't use integer data type, because if you use integer data type it will show you an error. Okay, so let me just type out the integer data type. So for that, now I need to signify int, which is the integer data type. And now you guys can just name a particular variable. Okay, so I will just go with my w num. Okay, so which is the my whole number. So I'll just put on the equal to sign, and now you can just put on any whole number. Okay, but you can't put any decimal number right over here. So let me just go with 37. Okay, and I'll just close this down with another semicolon. Now let's click on enter, and the next data type we are going to learn is, let's say now you do have a decimal number and you want to use that particular decimal number. So now let me just come here, and with this integer data type, okay, so with this integer data type, what I'm going to do is, let's click on enter. I will just type count, then double less than sign, and I will just put the name of my variable, which is my w num, and then again the double less than sign, then endl semicolon, and now control s to save it. And from here, now let's try this integer data type. or let me just show you guys first this one. Okay, so over here, as you guys can see, it is showing me that there is an error. Okay, so here it says ENDL was not declared. END L. Okay, so I do have put the double L, that's why it was not working. So make sure that you do so. Okay, like keep a close eye on the things you're writing, because just with only a word or with only a small character, your whole program will stop working. Okay, so now as you guys can see, it was working. But now with this same data type, if I come here and if I just put some decimal numbers, let's go with 37.4. Okay, and if I just run this code, you guys can see that it is not showing me the answer over here. It is showing me 37 only. Okay, so let's come here and now I will just come down. Let's click on enter and now let's create another data type. Okay, so I will just keep this one as 37. And now over here, I will just type double. And now I will just type my D num, which is my decimal number. So I'll just put equal to sign. And for numbers, you guys can see you don't have to keep these numbers, whether it's a whole number, whether it's a decimal number, you don't have to keep this inside a quotation mark the way you did it for this character or the way you did it for this particular sentence. Okay, so double my d underscore my d num equal to, then I can use a decimal number. Let's go with 76.9. Okay, so now let's come here, Control S to save it, and instead of my w num, now if I just type my d num, which is a double, so I'll just come here. Now let's try to run this line of code. Okay, and I need to make sure that I do put out the semicolon as well. Control S to save it. Now let's build and run, and you guys can see now it is showing me my answer in decimal points. Okay, because it shows 76.9. And the same way over here, let's close it up, and from here you guys can actually create, let's come here, let's click on enter. You can create another variable which is a float. Okay, so this also does the same thing, and I will just type my f num equal to 77.23, and let me just type my f num. Now let's try to build and run this. And again, the same thing, I'm just forgetting my semicolon, which I had to put. And here now you guys can see you can also run this thing 77.23. Okay, so now you do have this float data type over here as well. So we do have learned about the character data type, where you guys can see you can just put a single character inside the string data type. You can just put a bunch of things, and inside this integer data type you can only put whole numbers. Inside the double and the float data type you can put decimal numbers. Okay, and lastly, the data type which we are going to look is known as the Boolean data type. Okay, so if we just come here, now I will just signify this one as a Boolean data type, because I need to type a bool. Okay, so over here, as you guys can see, bool, and afterwards over here you guys can just name it the way you want. Okay, let's say you are just trying to put a false or a true value inside. Okay, so for that, now you can just tell is worker, so equal to true. And now I will just come here and I will just put this one just right over here, the semicolon. So here you guys can see I do have the character data type, I do have the string data type, I do have the integer data type, the double, the float, and lastly I also do have the boolean, which can only have two values stored inside. Either it's true or either it is false. Okay, like I will also show you guys later into our classes that how you can make use of these boolean data type inside your work. So yeah, I hope now this particular class was clear on how you can actually work over here. But now, as you guys can see, all the data type which I have made you guys understand, these are now inside a variable, like it is actually stored inside a container. But you guys can use all of this data type just for printing out your things as well. Okay, like if I just show you guys an example now, let's delete all of this from here. And now, if you do want to print something, you guys can just print it. Okay, like using the cout option. Like let's go with cout, then double less than sign. Then I'll just put the equal to sign, and I'll just type happy birthday Mike. Okay, and over here now I will just again close this down. And from here, I will just type ENDL semicolon, and I will just delete everything else. Okay, Control S to save it. Now let's build and run. And over here, as you guys can see, it is actually showing me an error. Okay, error count was not declared in this scope. Okay, so this was not count actually, but this was count. Control S back to save again. Now let's run this. Okay, so ENDL. Okay, so I'll just type the ENDL. Now let's build and run. And you guys can see now, you guys can just use it without the variable as well. Whether it is a whole number, whether it is just a sentence, whether it's only a character, or whether it's a Boolean value, it will actually work. About Boolean, we are going to learn in detail, and you will be able to understand in a better way how it actually works. So yeah, I hope to see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye, everyone.